Well, hello everybody. I had a bit of a Alan from Dragon Junction there. I did the introduction, but the picture behind me was sort of not really working very well. Now this video behind me on the TV is, believe it or not, from June 2019. I mean, it's getting, it's a long time ago. And if you notice, I'm down in the on the table, wasn't I? So why am I showing you this? It will all become apparent later on. So I welcome you to Robert's Train Set. This is the continuation of moving from Hornby RAILMASTER and our eLINK, which was controlling this behind me, to DigiKey's DR5000 and iTRAINS. And so far you've seen me get to grips with the command station, which is the DR5000. So in this one, we've got to move on and maybe start getting into iTRAINS. Now this video behind me, interestingly, has done really well. I mean, when it was first put up in 2019, it didn't do particularly well, but ever since, it's had views, and it's now over 1,000 views on this one, which I find very strange. So I hope you'll stay with me on this journey, and it could be quite a long one. And in this video, I'll hopefully explain and show a bit why. I'm a bit further into iTRAINS now, although don't worry, nowhere near ready to use it. I would like you to stay with me. I've had a reasonable amount of views on the introductory one. So this one is, where we really start with iTRAINS, I think, as opposed to with the DigiKeys in the previous ones. So break away from here. If you want to have a look at this on my thing, it's still there. You can have a look at it and see what it was like. I quite like it actually, and the Class 37 is actually the Hornby Railroad one, with the sound, but before I put the lights in it. So yeah, so well, way back. So let's get on with this video.
So here we have some another couple of parcels, one from Hattons and one from DCC Train Automation. I wonder what's in these boxes. You'll see later on what I got. So the old Digi-Centre is flashing away at me, and we've been just sort of playing a little bit, I suppose. And down in the lounge dining room, and is the dining room table that the Robert's Train Set used to be on. And you go up a little bit higher. Oh look, we've got another train set. Hey! So got a little Ginty running around with a couple of the old carriages there, and quite enjoyed doing this actually. I mean, it's, it's still playing trains, isn't it? Even if it has got a serious side. So as you can see, those two reels of cable were in that box, and I've got me the original computer with the instructions and everything for what I want to do. So it seems to be working quite well. And as you can see, I've got a selection of rolling stock and locos down here. And yeah, I thought, maybe it might be easier doing and sort of experimenting down here rather than in the cold loft, because it is pretty cold up there. That's running around at 27 speed steps. And yes, I know it's round and round, but what else can I do? I have opened the table a bit, as you can see. So coming up with the Hornby stuff I bought from Hattons, and here's the cable and a couple of extra bits from DCC Train Automation. And here's what we've got on the siding. So we've got the 08, some various wagons there, and there's the 03. But I do always like running the Ginty, I must admit. So what I thought, no, it's a train set or a model railway, and the idea of it is to enjoy yourself. So just going to be a bit here, quite a bit here, of me showing how easy it is to sort of change locos in the DigiKeys software. Is it as good as RAILMASTER? Nowhere near, because they're all ready straight away. And here you have to put numbers in and whatever. It only remembers the last number that was in it. So it can take a little while, but it's not too difficult. If you have a look, you can see me, what I'm doing, can't you? You know? So see how we go. So I was starting up the 08 there, and here it goes. Now you can hear me over the noise. I'll have to raise my voice a bit, don't I? And it was quite nice having a small little train set again. Reminded me of when I started as a lad. So I raised the speed from the 36 to the 121, and it was going round, herring round. I've never had the 08 going that fast before. On the Hornby RAILMASTER it was limited to 15 miles an hour, which is pretty slow. It's probably about the speed it would normally operate at. And then I turned it off, and you can see it slowing down. Now this is with the decoder settings in the loco, and it did it quite well, didn't it? Not bad. So I think I now go and have a go at the 03, I think I do next. And this is where I was getting my numbers from. This is what I took off of the RAILMASTER. Put the number in. I had to think about what I was doing, get the sound going. Make sure it's going forwards. Find some of the buttons, see what they do. And off we went. And you might have noticed I pushed it forwards initially, but I had to change that, so but it came the right way in the end. And off it went. It'd be nice, I think. This is very, very slow, this 03. It really is. The gearing must be absolutely phenomenal in it. And it did give me a lot of problems later on in when I was doing other things, which is will be in the next episode or video, if you prefer.
Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that bit of running. It's a different feeling having it running around on the table again, I must admit. After all this time, after all this time, to actually have a train or 3 trains running around on my dining room table is well, frankly, quite weird. But it's very cold at the moment, isn't it? And I'm recording this near the end of November, when we had a bit of a cold snap, and I've been up in the loft today to get some stuff, as you've seen. And it was 45 degrees when I went up there. Now, sort of going up and down and doing a bit, it went up to 50. But that is with the sun on the roof. The sun was out for quite a while. So you can see it's you know, the potential is to be really cold up there. So I prefer to be down here, to be honest, with the heat. So we've near enough now sorted out the DigiKeys. We can get the locos working. It's very quick to get them working, as you saw, with my bit of computer stuff that I filmed. And where do we go from here? Well, I think, to get the DigiKey system all up and running. And with that end, I need to start connecting these to my DR5000. Now, the eagle-eyed of you may have spotted in that picture of the stuff that came out of those parcels, another one of these. Now, it's not exactly this one, it's more like this one. And it's basically the same one as this. And if you've watched any of the stuff on these, you can connect them together. And in fact, you can connect a hell of a lot of them together to get a lot of reporting stations for your feedback. Now, I bought an extra one. I am having quite a bit of help with this. I've got a chap called Alan, nothing to do with Dragon Junction, who seems very knowledgeable on all these systems really. iTRAINS, iCars, and one of the other control units, the one that Jim uses in Overmotion. So he's advising me, and of course I am really grateful for any help I can get, but I would like to do this by myself, albeit with a bit of help. But I've been offered a few times for them to come into my system and sort of help. Now I'm going to try and resist that at the moment. We never know what's going to happen in the future, because I would like to genuinely do it myself and see how difficult it is to get some trains running on iTRAINS. So this is where it really begins. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to get those connected. And it's basically, it will just show us that they are connected, they are responding to the input from them, even if there isn't any at the moment. And it does show you the difference between not being connected and having wires connected to your train. Well, welcome back everybody. I've had a bit of a day today. We have progressed, but not without just a few problems. So then I started trying to program these units. And we know the DR5000 works well and runs the trains. So I watched James at DCC Train Automation's video.
Reasons to be overall much less concerned.
I had to go away there. I got the TV on pause so I could watch the news, because this is the day when more restrictions were brought in because of that new variant. Hopefully when you see this we'll know whether it was justified, everything that was done, or wasn't enough. We'll see. And so it started up after an hour and a half recorded, because that's as much as it'll record, and I sorted it out. Oh well, the day continues. So anyway, tried to set the modules. I now have obviously the programmable module and then the two slaves that fit to it with some cables. And I misunderstood James's video, or I got sometimes you can get something in your head and you think that's right, and it wasn't. Anyway, I sorted it out, and now they work. So I'm going to turn the camera and I'm going to show you where we are at this stage on our journey to go to iTRAINS. So well, there we go. Be back in a minute, everybody. Bye. So as you can see, everybody, it's all flashing lights everywhere, and the unit over to the right hand side is the DR4088LN, which is the one that you program. And you might see the flashing light which shows that it's operational. The other two, which are behind it, they don't have any lights, because they're basically just in essence an overflow for the main unit really. And on the track you can see my 03 diesel. So I'm going to, at the moment the track power is off, so I'm going to turn the track power on, and then hopefully this little diesel will become illuminated and start making a noise. So I'm just going to push the button. And there we are. So it's running. I've got the light on. I had to go through all the buttons to find which one was the light, but I found it in the end. And I'm going to start this off. So I pick it up again. It went away so quick I didn't have time to follow it. So hopefully I can this time. And it's running very well. And as you can see, it goes down behind the computer and disappears. So letting the 03 carry on round the oval. In front of you is obviously the control panel for running the loco, but there's another one. Now if you watch that green dot there, look, it's got a tick in it. And now the tick's gone. So if we wait for the diesel to come round again, I'll show you something. So the 03 is just gone over this joint, and if you look carefully you can see that there's a conventional fish plate on this side towards us. On the other side we've got one of those insulated ones with a gap, as you can see. And if I remove the camera and go to the other end, conventional fish plate on the side nearest the computer, which is there, and a fish plate there. So as we wait for the 03 to come across that bit of track, it's in blue because there is a wire to it, which I will show you in a minute. Now the 03 is coming up and we have a tick, which means it's sensing that that is occupied. In iTRAINS that would mean that that block was occupied, and iTRAINS would not allow another train into it until it had cleared, which is when the tick goes out. So we'll let the 03 go past, and that's where our power is coming in. I've got a little crocodile clip with a cable fixed to it, not even soldered, just wrapped round and tightened, and that's feeding the power to just this piece of track. The rest of the layout is being fed by this. How does this work? So we've got the DR5000, which is the command centre, i.e. the brains of the operation. We then have the DR4088LN LocoNet unit, and we've basically got 3 connections into this, or rather 4 connections into this. We have these 2 cables that deal with the LocoNet. One goes to the DR5000 and the other one goes to this little unit here, the DR4088. And as you notice, there's another one of those next to it, and they're connected with the same type of cable. And if you wanted more of these, which I may well in the end, we'll see, you would just daisy chain them along and you can have a lot of these units. We have nothing at the moment because there's no feeds into that. But in this one, if you notice, we have one red cable coming into what effectively is number 4 there, but on the actual computer, because of where it's been numbered, this would be number 20. So it starts at number 17. And the black cable, which should be red by the way, but I used it because I'd split it off the red one, is now going into the track power of the DR5000. So the way it works is, notwithstanding that most of the power is going into the Hornby track connection rail. One cable comes out of there with the live, it's fed into that centre bit, and you need 2 of these for all 16 blocks, and then it's fed to that bit of rail that's isolated with this cable, and that feeds power. And the minute the loco goes across that joint, it senses it's drawing power and consequently shows you that it's occupied. So that's how it works. So we know the system is working, but what the DR5000 does when you turn on track power is it checks for all the feedbacks, and I have now got set up 48 feedbacks on this through the 3 extra units. Is when I get the O3 in, I'm going to turn off the track power. Now I'm going to leave all the settings on the O3 the same, with obviously the sound off, and when I push this red button it all died. The light goes out in the cab and it stops. Okay, so now we go across to the computer screen, and I don't know if you can see, but we've still got the same number on the control for the O3, 84 speed steps. And if I go across to this one, and I'll make it a little bit smaller so you can see it all, and I'm sorry about me shaking, but to get the tripod and me to sit here and do it is difficult. Now you notice that the blue, so that is the sensor that I've actually got connected. So I'm about to push the green button on the DR5000 to turn the power on. The O3 will start, with the light will come on, which I can't show you, and it will start running again. So let's push that on. And did you see that scanning all the way down? And it went to number 64, which is how many it reads. Now I haven't got 64 what's the names, and you notice the blues now come on and it showed the tick, and if we wait here long enough it will go again once the O3 comes. Now if I were to stop the O3 on that section it would stay ticked. So I've actually got 48 sensors usable. So I've got to run 48 wires into the back of this those units, and then I'll have 48 detecting points. So I'm just about to let the O3 run onto that bit of track, which you'll see by the tick coming on. And it's just about to go now, and I'm going to stop it. And if you notice, the tick remains. Out of that section of track, and the tick goes off. So I hope you've enjoyed this bit. So I'm really happy now. I can really now get on to connecting my DR5000 into my iTRAINS. But I do have some bits to do first before I can do that. So we'll see how we go, everybody. All right? Well, everybody, a little long this one, I know, but we're nearly at the end. So how are we going to finish this? Well, believe it or not, I've managed to get iTRAINS connected to the DR5000, and I've got a loco that runs on it. So I'm going to show you that. So I've got this far, and a big part of that is help from a chap called Bob Fuller, and he's done some magnificent tutorials on iTRAINS, and luckily he uses the same command station, the DR5000, as I do. So his joining and connecting was invaluable, and it's gone off without a hitch. It's absolutely wonderful. So I managed to get Ginty into the database, and that's all at the moment. There is some work to do to get the locomotives to work, but I will show you how it's working. So as you can see, we've got the jinty in shot in the siding. I've changed the point, ready to go, and in the lower left corner of the screen you can see the speedometer and the picture of the jinty, and all of the controls for this locomotive are down here. Now, as far as I understand, you can't have your locomotives running automatically. It's only trains that are automatic, so this will be a manual running, and even if you could do it automatically, there isn't enough information in this computer to do it. So anyway, let's see how we get on, shall we? So I think we could do with some sound, or some steam perhaps might be a better expression. So there we are. Maybe a little whistle. And let's start her off. Might be better if we go the other way, mightn't it? Up. I must say they are very small buttons for controlling it. No, it goes back. Okay, well, I've got to learn. Here we go. She's on her way. Change the point. So let's have a look at the speedo, shall we? So at the moment we're doing 20, well, about 15 speed steps. And that's equal to just under 10 miles an hour. So I'll go a little bit quicker. So there we are. We're now doing the whole 20 miles an hour. And this is at just touching 40 speed steps. Now I set the speed profile for the jinty to 60 miles an hour maximum, which I believe is 10 miles an hour over what she could actually have done. But I just thought I wanted a little bit of a give, but it's very controllable. Unlike the DR5000, you can't use the scroll wheel on the mouse to alter the speed, which is a little bit of a retrograde, but a lot of the time they'll be running automatically, hopefully.
So as you can see, got flashing lights everywhere now. I've connected up some more sensors because I felt, I want to try and get this to work. And you can see with the train going round, lights up this table no end. So there's only, I think, 6 sensors on this for the track. You can imagine what it would be like with the 48 running off. So as I said, I'm going to really practice with this and try and get a grip on where I need to put sensors on the railway up in the loft. And it's far easier doing it down here, which you'll see in a minute, because I haven't got to drill holes out and get under the layout and connect them all up. So I think it's a no-brainer. So you can see I've used the little crocodile clips again, and I've got one there, and then the train went over it. And there's another one there, look, on the beginning of the big curve at one end. And this one's at the end of the siding. And then there's one here by the computer, which was the original one. So if I turn the DR5000 off and then turn it on again, it does that. Scanning.
So with the trains silent, we'll have a look at the setup. So as you can see, I've got wires into all three of these units, which is what you were seeing on the screen. As the train went over the section, it shows there's a train in it. And I'd just like to show you down there how much wire there is just to do these 6 connections. So you can imagine when I've got the whole 48 in, or even more perhaps, we'll see, it's going to be a right old spaghetti junction. If you notice, I've only got 2 wires going into the live part of this terminal, which is the track power, which is what I had last time. How have I done that? Because you do need to feed track power into every one of these units. I bought some of these, a pound at my pound shop. So feed them in like that. So neatens it up, and this is what I should do on the layout. So I'm really pleased. I've got all of my, shall we say, interfaces working now. I'm hoping now to use the little layout on the table, which, you know, is a reasonable size, with all the blocks in it, to see what I can do down here, because it's a lot warmer down here than it is up in the loft. It's really cold up in the loft at the moment, and it doesn't look as though it's going to get a lot warmer in the next few weeks. So I think I'm safer down here by the radiator. Just managed to get my casserole in the oven about 3/4 of an hour ago, so only another 2 1/4 hours to go, and I'll have a nice hot casserole to eat, and then that will last me for a couple more days. So a lot of beef in it. It was really nice. It looks all right. I reckon it'll be great.
So the 2 1/4 hours elapsed, and there is the casserole straight out the oven. And the still picture never shows. It's far better with a bit of movie in it. You see the steam coming off and it bubbling away. Lovely it was. So I think we're just going to finish this with a little bit of very slow running from the Ginty and his carriages. And I think this was at speed step 1 or 2. I'm not can't quite remember. But it does run. They do seem to run better on the DR5000 than they did on the RAILMASTer. I mean, the proof of the pudding will be up on the layout when it's all sorted out, won't it? But yeah, they do seem to. So I hope you'll be interested in the next episode, where I do quite a bit of testing, I think. I mean, I won't bore you with too much of it, but I just want to see and work out, you know, what I've got to do, really. We'll see how we go. So watch out for that, everybody. Cheers. Thanks to all the new subscribers that have come on board. Thank you. I hope you'll stay with me. Cheers, everybody.